Hey everybody, it's GoblinX, and today I'll be playing a competitive draft of Guilds of Ravnica on Magic Arena. Let's just hop right into it. Sorry I didn't get any videos up last Thursday and Friday. I wanted to play some Guilds of Ravnica Limited, but the only way that you can play Guilds of Ravnica Limited currently on Magic Arena is with gems, and gems can only be bought in the store or won in other events, so I had to wait till I actually won enough gems to actually play some. So, here we go. This is my first ever Guilds of Ravnica draft, period. I have not gotten a chance to draft the set in paper. I've only gotten the chance to play the pre-release at this point. So yeah, a lot of these picks will probably be very wrong, but go easy on me. I'll do my best. So there's a Crackling Drake, which I like a lot. It can be very powerful, and it replaces itself when it enters the battlefield to draw a card. Assemble seems really strong. A 6-mana instant speed, poop out 3 2/2s. Could be a pretty good combat trick. And if you are stuck on mana, if you're not really going to make it to that 6 mana, then you can use Assure to save one of your creatures, make it win in combat, stuff like that. Other than that, I think these two are definitely the strongest cards. The problem is they're both multicolored. And in most sets, you don't want to pick a multicolored card first unless it is very powerful, because it locks you in more than any other card would. So if we wanted to take a monocolored card here, honestly, none of these are that great. Locks and Restores, okay. Hired Poisoner's, okay. Passwall Adept might be fine. I definitely think it's better in Sealed. And Generous Stray is okay, just because it replaces itself. You draw a card. So yeah, we could just first pick a Guildgate, but I don't think we're going to go deep on that strategy. I'm just going to take the rare here to try to get a feel for the format. I want to see which bombs are going to be the best bombs. So I want to definitely try out each rare. At this point in the format, we're early enough. So this is really awkward. There's really nothing in Selesnya. There's a Luminous Bonds, which is probably what I'm going to take here. True Fire Captain is a very awkward pick after Assemble. Yeah, we could go into Naya, but I don't really like running the XXYY cards in a 3-color deck, like 2 red, 2 white in a red-green-white deck. Seems like most of the time you're not going to be able to cast that till like turn 7, so it's got to be like really, really good if you're running it in a 3-color deck. So I think I'm going to be playing Luminous Bonds here. It's just the simplest pick. You really can't go wrong grabbing a removal spell that shares the color with your previous picks. Here we have a Narcomoeba if I want to draft it just to have in my collection. Again, Selesnya is very, very not in this pack. I don't know why I can't speak right now. It's very not well represented. There's a lot of blue and a Dimir Guildgate. There is a Selesnya Locket, I guess, but I don't really like the Lockets that much. Maybe I'm undervaluing them and I should just pick it up. I don't want to take a Candlelight Vigil without any reason to play it right now. We don't have any Mentor yet or anything like that. Crush Contraband, I'm probably not taking. Like, it's an okay sideboard card, but in arena drafts, I believe they are all one-game matches. The blue cards aren't even that strong. Devious Cover-Up's pretty good. Unexplained Disappearance is alright, in terms of what I've seen in Sealed. So I guess I could just take a Guildgate, or a Crawl Foragers, or a Locket. I think out of those, because the Guildgate is completely off-color and I'm not a fan of the Lockets yet, I guess I'll take a Crawl Foragers and might end up having to run it. This also just sends a signal to the bots that green is definitely not open. So this pack, we have a Take Heart, which is good if you have a lot of creatures. You gain a life for each attacking creature when you play it. Iron Shell Beetle, it's a 2-mana 2/2. It could also just put a counter on something else, like a Healer's Hawk is a pretty good combo. Urban Utopia, good for trying to play like the 5-color Guildgate weird control deck. And Vigor Spore Worm, which is just a big dude with one of the better Undergrowth triggers, I think. By the time you cast this guy, this is almost always going to make your dude just big enough that they'll have to chump block and lose a creature. So I think I like Vigor Spore Worm here. Our curve is really awkward right now. But we're only 3 cards in, so I don't think we need to take early cards yet. But of course, Vigor Spore Worm, you only want like 1 or 2, and you could just get them later, so maybe I should just take the 2-mana 2/2. Or I could take a Boros Guildgate, so it's easier to splash into Naya if something cool shows up. I kind of like that. Neither of these cards are really that powerful, so I think I'll just take this so it's easier to splash if it comes to it. Which it looks like it might come to it because Selesnya is really just not here in these packs. I might even have to abandon ship on the green altogether. So let's see. Another Dimir Guildgate. Watcher in the Mist seems really, really good. But it doesn't go with any of the cards we've picked so far. Literally, if I take this, then I can't go blue-white, I can't go blue-green, because neither of those guilds are in this set. That's Azorius and Simic, they're in the next set, so taking a blue card right now when I have white and green is really, really awkward. At this point, seeing that Selesnya isn't open, I really want to just shift into Golgari or shift into Boros and hope for the best. It does seem like I've been seeing a lot of red, so I think I'll try to shift into Boros here and see what happens. Yeah. So let's see, we could take a Goblin Locksmith. Whenever it attacks, creatures with Defender can't block this turn. Okay, that's just a 2-mana 2/1 basically. Fresh Face Recruit I think is probably pretty good. 2-mana 2/1 First Strike during your turn. That seems like the most relevant time for it to have First Strike for a Boros deck. There's also Skyline Scout, which can get flying till end of turn, so that might be better than Fresh Face Recruit, just so it can get past stuff like 2/3s. Both of these are just a straight up white card, so I could stick in entirely Selesnya, taking either of these, because I don't need red mana for either of them, so I think I will take one of these two. I really don't know which is better. I guess I'll take the Skyline Scout. I do like evasion cards. So here we finally have like a single other Selesnya card, Rosemane Centaur. I think Rosemane Centaur is really good. A 4/4 body seems decently large against most decks. Dimir decks, they're not going to have like anything that big unless they're pretty lucky. Izzet decks as well don't tend to have that large of creatures. And the Vigilance is pretty sweet, so I think I'll just take Rosemane Centaur here. Selesnya Guildgate was a consideration there. That card is pretty good. Here I think I'll take Sworn Companions. It's very good with Convoke cards. It also keeps us entirely in Selesnya. Alright, so here's all the Selesnya cards. They're not particularly strong, but at least there are some of them. I like Healer's Hawk probably more than I should. I do already have a couple 3-drops. I have nothing really early on, so I think I'll take Healer's Hawk. Healer's Hawk is a card that can get pretty good if you have anything with Mentor. Even like a Candlelight Vigil. You probably don't want to run Candlelight Vigil unless you have a shit ton of Mentor guys and maybe a couple Healer's Hawk. But I think if you do, it could be pretty good. I do like Loxodon Restorer. It can just come out on turn like 4 and get you back into the game if you've just been getting pounded. And if not, 4 life is a decent upside, and a 3/4 body's relatively large. Other than that, it could be a Generous Stray, which is decent because it works with Convoke. It's a 1/2, so it stops any 1/1s, and most importantly, it replaces itself. You just draw another card. So you're not losing any value by casting this guy, except for like the mana value. So if you had something else you were going to play on turn 3, then you're just like, oh, well, that's rough. I think I'll play Loxodon Restorer. I don't see Generous Stray getting picked up that early at all. Hopefully I can get those pretty late. So here I could pivot into a Boros card. I could grab a Hammer Dropper, which seems like a decent dude. He's got a very high power on a Mentor creature, which means that he can give most of the creatures in the format a +1/+1 counter at least one time. However, there is a Might of the Masses, and Might of the Masses seems like exactly what you want in a Selesnya deck. Selesnya decks are all about spitting out a whole bunch of creatures, and Might of the Masses will give a very large bonus to maybe a flying creature if you're attacking and trying to kill them, or just to save off one of your better creatures early on during combat. So I will take a Might of the Masses. Candlelight Vigil did wheel, and I don't think we're playing any of these other cards. Again, I don't really want to pick up any blue cards, because the odds of us splashing into blue are very low. There is no guild gate that will help us splash into blue, because there's no guilds that are white, blue, or green, blue. So I will just take a Candlelight Vigil. Probably not going to play it, but I will pick it up. Vigor Spore Worm did go very late. It's unfortunate it's not the Iron Shell Beetle, because now we do have a Healer's Hawk to go with it. But Vigor Spore Worm is good as well, and it also works with Healer's Hawk. Make that Healer's Hawk really big, and gain a bunch of life that turn. So here's some Izzet cards. Neither are particularly great. I think that Sonic Assault is probably a lot better than I initially thought. I got destroyed by Sonic Assaults in a two-headed giant game. One of them was playing Boros, the other was playing Izzet. And that definitely showed off the synergy between Izzet and Boros. Basically every guild that shares a color is actually very synergistic. I didn't think so at first. I thought, like, Selesnya Golgari, obviously very synergistic. They have a lot of creatures. Golgari, Dimir, obviously very synergistic. You can surveil your Undergrowth dude. Dimir Izzet, very synergistic. You can surveil your Jumpstart cards. I did not see the core... Oh, wait. Boros and Selesnya also. Just a bunch of creatures, so that's obviously synergistic. I didn't see how Izzet and Boros were synergistic until that two-headed giant game where one of them was playing Boros and the other was playing Izzet, where I saw the power of just these cards like Sonic Assault, cards like the 1 red +1/+1 haste jumpstart thing, just these little instants and sorceries with jumpstart that let you get in there very quickly with your creature. Izzet is, like, half of the Izzet cards are really aggressive, and the other half are, like, really controlling. So it feels like half of the Izzet guild works, like, perfectly with Boros, and the other half works really well with Dimir, and I really like how they designed it. I'm definitely very, very impressed. That was one of the things that I thought was one of the flaws in the set before, was that not every guild worked very well together with its allied guilds, but now that I've seen the Izzet Boros possibilities with their aggressive cards, I think it's pretty sweet. Anyways, I'm just going to take Invert and Invent because it is an uncommon, so I might as well just have it for my collection. I'm not casting any of those cards. I could take a Pause for Reflection for my collection, and it has Convoke, so we might even run it. I highly doubt it. But I am taking the Fog card for my collection just in case Turbo Fog is still a good strategy and it wants to use that card. So here we have the next pack. We have another sweet blue card. It's kind of unfortunate that we weren't in blue. And yeah, yet again, not a lot in green or white. There's a Blade Instructor, Vigor Spore Worm, and a Flower and Flourish, and that's literally it. I think I want to take a Flower and a Flourish here. So if you're stuck on mana early, it lets you grab a land, and if you're not, then it is a kind of miniature Overwhelm late game that can hopefully end the game if you have enough token producers, which I'm certainly trying to start picking up now. I have an Assemble and a Sworn Companions, so I think I'll pick that up. I could also just take the Blade Instructor. It does work well with Healer's Hawk and Skyline Scout as small, evasive creatures to pump up. But no, I think I'll take the Flower and the Flourish. I only have 2 creatures right now that Blade Instructor can pump up, other than just random tokens. Alright, so next up we have a very Selesnya pack. There are multiple cards I'd like here and here. First of all, there's Firemind's Research, which is really cool, and I want to draft around it at some point. But in this pack we have Flight of Equinaughts, which seems really good. It is a really high mana cost, but usually a 4/5 flying is strong enough that you're willing to just tap all of your creatures to play this dude, so you can play it on like turn 5, just tapping 3 creatures. Other than that, Siege Worm as well, very powerful. Just a big old 5/5 trample. I think it's going to be the flying creature here, though. I think flying's just going to be better than trample. It is 1 less power, but it is a large flyer, so I'm going to pick it up. Next up, we have not a lot to offer here. There is Find and Finality, which is a really, really good card to splash in. The problem is that it's a lot better, in my opinion, if you are Dimir splashing in Golgari than Selesnya splashing in Golgari, because this is just going to kill all of our creatures. But Wrath effects are always very strong and limited because you always know when you have them in your hand unless you top deck it. So you can play around it and just sandbag a creature or two if you're not under enough pressure, just in order to like 2 or 3 for 1 your opponent. Realistically, with this card, it's going to be more like a 3 for 2 or a 4 for 2 or something like that. Because you'll probably have a creature out, especially by turn 6. Anyways, yeah, I don't think I'm going to take that just because it kills the vast majority of our creatures. We only have 1 creature that survives it. I guess it does put 2 counters on it, so how many creatures do we have that would survive with the counters on it? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? We might just go like Selesnya top end. Like, we're okay losing all of our tokens if we've already convoked out our large cards. This actually could be okay. I just feel like the upside of the ability to possibly 2 or 3 for 1 is just so strong that we might want to splash it in anyway. And nothing else in this pack is particularly exciting. If we're not taking this, we're probably taking Golgari Raiders or Generous Stray. Don't really know about the pack beast. And with the Raiders, we don't have anything that self-mills, and we have a lot of non-creatures that make tokens. So I'm going to go with Find and Finality. Hopefully it'll work out, but we'll see. So here we have a Swarm Guildmage. Oh, Vernati Shieldmate actually seems pretty sweet. The cool thing about this dude is it is a 2/2 that you can get in there and attack early game while also still convoking your cards main phase 2. So I think that's just definitely what I want here. I could splash in a Swarm Guildmage as well, which could be good in a token deck because at 5 mana you can give your whole team Menace. But I don't really like splashing in low-cost cards because the odds of having your splash color on early turns is not super high, but this is a little more of a late game card since the mana to use the relevant ability is 5. But still, I think Vernati Shieldmate is just always going to be good, and it's always going to be castable because of that hybrid mana cost. So I will pick up Vernati Shieldmate. Next up, we could pick up another Rosemane Centaur, or another Healer's Hawk, or another Skyline Scout, or a Guild Gate. Which I probably should take Guild Gates more highly than I'm going to, but I want to pick up another Centaur here. Could take a Pitiless Gorgon. It's not terribly hard to cast. It's basically green and 1 in this deck. And then if we randomly have one of our like 3 swamps that we'll probably play, then it could be a little easier to cast. It is a 2/2 Death Touch. I just don't think it works as well in our deck's theme as Rosemane Centaur will. So I'll pick that up. So here we have Pax Favor, which I've seen this be really good in the pre-release just because nobody really sees it coming. You usually can have enough creatures out that this will cost like 0 or 1. On the defensive at least. Yeah, it's just a good combat trick. Other than that, we have Generous Stray again for convoking stuff. We have Join Shields. Untap all your dudes. They gain hexproof and indestructible till end of turn. I'm not a major fan of how this card looks, but I have not played with or against it yet, so I'm not really sure. I think this Inspiring Unicorn could be really good, though. Just buffs your whole field whenever it attacks, so it's like a 4-mana 3/3 that pumps your whole field. That seems pretty good. I'm going to pick up the Unicorn here, and hopefully we'll get some more early game token producers. However, this does not look like the pack that we're going to get it. I'm not really confident in the Has the Marshal plan. I don't think we have enough early attacking creatures to get really some value out of that. We have 1 Might of the Masses and an Assure to make sure that it can make 2 tokens, to make sure it doesn't just die on the first attack, which is cool, but there are 2 really strong cards here. There's Arboretum Elemental, which is a 7/5 Convoke and Hexproof, and a Prey Upon. And I think the choice has got to be between those. So let's see what we've got for removal. Right now I believe we just have Finality and Luminous Bonds as removal. That is accurate. So we could take a giant hexproof dude, or we could take a Prey Upon as some more removal in here. How worried are we about having a lot of removal if we just have larger creatures? I don't think we're that worried. I really want to take this Elemental. It just seems real strong. So I'm going to pick it up. Definitely now we need to highly prioritize cards like Sworn Companion, stuff that gives us more early game creatures. I think Ledev Champion's a decent one at that. It is an early game creature, and it can spend a bunch of mana to put some more creatures out. It is between him and Prey Upon, but I think that if he works out, he's just really strong looking. So I'm going to pick him up. It's a little awkward. There's no early game creatures. We have Arbor Elemental, Flight of Equinaughts, and Vigor Spore Worm. Double Rosemane Centaur. I don't think we need another Vigor Spore Worm. I don't think we need more late game, so I'm going to grab this Guild Gates in case we get a red-white rare that is just awesome next pack. Golgari Guildgate is a really good wheel healer here. Undercity Uprising is definitely good in our deck. We can fight something with a death-touching token to kill it, but I do think that we need to pick up some Guild Gates at some point. So I will pick up the Golgari Guildgate to help us splash that finality. So it's between Golgari Raiders and Generous Stray. I think I'm going to pick the Generous Stray here. Again, I don't think our creature count is that high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, the thing is, we don't have a way to self-mill, so the Golgari Raiders is just going to come out with a maximum of 1, 2, 3, 4... So yeah, if we play Golgari Raiders on turn 4, the maximum number of counters it could possibly have is 4. And that's if we somehow cast every cheaper creature. Yeah, because we've got no way to self-mill, so I don't think this is the deck for the Raiders. So I'll pick up the Generous Stray. It's an early game blocker that also helps convoke things because it's a body. It gives us a card. So it's between Loxodon Restorer and Vigor Spore Worm. I do like the late game Undergrowth cards better in our deck than the early game ones, just because then we've had more opportunities to trade off these other creatures. I think I'll just take the Convoke guy, probably. We have 3 really big dudes and a couple decently sized dudes. I don't think we need another 6/4. Yeah, I'll pick up the Loxodon Restorer because there's more chances to play that guy earlier. Here we'll take a Healer's Hawk. And here, I guess we can try out Join Shields if we want to, because it went insanely late. And also the Has the Marshal. Actually, I now have 3 1-drop 1/1, so Has the Marshal might even see play in our deck. That's, as a last pick, I'm definitely fine with that. This pack has absolutely nothing for our deck. We could take another Vigor Spore Worm. We could take a Centaur Peacemaker. It helps you get to the late game. It gives your opponent the life too. But if you just have larger creatures, if you have a better late game than your opponent, then Centaur Peacemaker is a good card. If not, it's obviously a bad card. You don't want to play this in a hyper-aggressive deck, because then you're just giving your opponent more time to live. Yeah, this pack doesn't really have anything for us. Chamber Sentry is really cool if you get it as your first pick. This is one of those cards that can convince you to go into the Guildgate control deck, because it's definitely good in a 5-color deck. Yeah, I mean, maybe the Ceratok. How many 4-drops do we have? We have 1 4-drop, so I think I have to just take the Ceratok here, just help out the curve a little bit. So this pack, there's a Luminous Bonds, there's a Hunted Witness, and there's a Crawl Harpooner. So Crawl Harpooner, 2 mana 3/2 reach that will fight a creature with flying when it enters the battlefield. Seems real strong, but also another Luminous Bonds just for more removal seems really strong. I think I do want to keep getting these early game creatures though to help convoke our very large late game threats like Flight of Equinaughts and Arboretum Elemental, so I will take the Harpooner here. So we could take a Selesnya Guildgate, a 2/4 with Convoke, or a 3-mana Convoke card that either is a 2/2 with Vigilance or destroys an artifact or enchantment. I think Sprouting Renewal is actually pretty good on arena drafts where you don't play a whole match, just because it's like, it has sideboard relevance in that it can destroy an artifact or enchantment, but is also main deckable. So I think I'll take the Sprouting Renewal here, because we're not going to be able to sideboard in a Naturalize or something if we play against like a Firemind Experiment or whatever. So I'll take Sprouting Renewal. That way we have a main deck answer to artifacts and enchantments. So here it's between Circuitous Root or Arboretum Elemental, I think. And I'm going to take another Arboretum Elemental. We're starting to pick up these early game creatures to help our Convoke out, so hopefully we can get one of these two out real early. This pack I'm not really happy about. We could take an Undercity Uprising, I guess, and hope to trade off a token for a large creature. I guess that's probably the best card in here. Woodshaper just seems slow for what it does. Also, we do need more 4-drops, so I think it's between these two. Righteous Blow is probably okay, but I think we have enough early game creatures to just block things that we don't need to do 2 to an attacking or blocking creature. So I will grab an Undercity Uprising. Definitely going to have to mess with this deck a bit. I'm probably not playing the Crawl Foragers. We'll see. I'll mess with this deck after it's fully drafted. So here there's nothing in Selesnya, so I guess we're taking another Undercity Uprising. Probably not running both of them. Ooh, this Guildmage is a very good pickup. It's our main colors. Ooh, but there's a Guildgate. This gives us a late game mana sink. I think it's got to be the Guildmage over the Guildgate. Guildgate would help our mana a lot, but Guildmage could just be sweet. Late game. So here, not really anything for us. We could take a Pack Beast if we're trying to go super aggressive, but I think we're just trying to plop out a giant creature early. Take an Okapi. I'm probably not playing anything I take out of this pack, but I'll take an Okapi. Demotion is sort of removal, but the creature still gets to attack, so I don't really like it that much unless you are in a Boros deck specifically that's quite aggressive. Take a Vigor Spore Worm just in case. Pitiless Gorgon. I think all the picks from now on are probably not going to get played in our deck. We'll just take them just in case. I could throw another Hasna Marshal in here. Maybe we could try to go with that really early game plan. Just try and spam out tokens as fast as possible. Okay, so I could do double Hasna Marshal, double Healers, Hawk. We do have a Might of the Masses and an Assure to help make sure our Hasna Marshals, just our early game creatures, survive a little longer. So yeah, if we do this like early game plan, what do I not want in here? Probably don't want both of these Undercity Uprisings. Gotta take 6 cards out. Could take out the Join Shields. Yeah, I really don't know about this Join Shields. It wants you to have a lot of creatures, but it also wants you to have creatures that are big enough to eat your opponent's creatures. I don't think that'll happen that often. Of course, this is like really good if they Ritual of Sit or something like that. I don't know, maybe I'm just not seeing the power of that card. I kind of want to run it just to see how well it does. I think I'm actually going to take the Vigor Spore Worm out. That way I can just have all of our top end is convocable. 3, 4. Yeah, all these are convocable now. Which is interesting. You put 1 swamp in here? 1 swamp for that finality. We're going to get there, guys. The auto mana is incredible. Alright, yeah, I mean, I like the top end. It's all convocable. So I definitely want to leave as much creatures as possible. I think I gotta take the Droid Shields out. I mean, it's not a creature. And it's the most iffy. Like, it's not always going to do something, whereas Undercity Uprising definitely will always do something. So, I mean, yeah, I'll take Join Shields out. This also makes our curve effectively top out at 4. Like, it tops out at 4, and then everything else has Convoke. So let's see here. Man, the choices are hard. I don't know how I'm gonna... I guess I could take out the Flower and the Flourish. 6 mana is a lot, and the first half is not that good. we do seem like we are becoming quite an early game deck here. Maybe don't even want the finality now, actually. If I'm going with all this early stuff, yeah, I'll take the finality out. That way I can just be 2-color. I definitely have to mess with this mana because they kept the swamp in there. Oh wait, the Undercity Uprising. I can just take the black out entirely to help the mana then, instead of being a derp. Sworn Companion or Stray. I'm gonna take one more card out if I want 17 lands. I mean, we have a lot of 1-drop. We have 4 1-drops. 2, 3, 4 at 2. That's 8 cards. Between 1 and 2 mana. We might even just be a 16 land deck. Probably not, though. We're probably not always going to be able to entirely convoke these guys. I think my early game's good enough, and I have some Healer's Hawks that I don't need to be gaining life, so I'll take 1 Loxodon Restore out and then roll with this. Yeah, I think I'll roll with this. Did I get any Selesnya Guild? Apparently I only got a Golgari, Guildgate, and double Boros, just in case. That's alright, we don't need a Guildgate in a 2-color deck. It would just help. Alright, here is our draft deck. Let's get into these games and see how we do. I am very nervous. This is my first time drafting this format. I don't really know if this deck's any good. The power level of the good cards in this set, and just the cards in general, seems really high. So my deck looks good at first glance, but I might just be thinking from a like core set power level because I've been drafting M19 a lot. This is a mulligan. This is an absolute mulligan. The only card I can play is Might of the Masses, and I can't actually play it unless I have a target for it, so that was rough. And then another... Man, I'm probably going to have to go in and fix the auto mana on this, because I just realized that, yeah, this deck needs a specific mana base. I need Plains earlier a lot more than I need Forests early. And I think that the auto mana might have just done an even split, which seems really incorrect. This is really rough. I don't want to mulligan to 5. My opponent goes first, so I'm on the draw, so here we go. And it's another double forest hand. Alright. Let's see what you do to me here, Magic Arena. So I have a playable card here. It's a 2-mana 3/2. That can stave my opponent off. God, this game is so hard when it like screws you over on the draw. Yeah, I'm gonna put him on the bottom. I was gonna say in the grave because I've been playing so many Surveil cards. I forgot how Scry works. Oh, thank God. There's the Plains. Now it feels like that Scry was... With the information I have now, the Scry seems wrong. Because then we would have had 3/2 turn 2, and then we would have Ledev Champion on turn 3. Seems good. Okay, now we've got our 4 mana for our Unicorn. So yeah, our curve would have worked out perfectly even if we kept that 3/2 on top. But I really wanted to get to 4 mana to be able to cast out our hand. Ooh, this is sweet. This is sweet. They're playing nothing here. If they play nothing again, this is going to be super duper sweet. And I will tap my untapped creature to give the champion +1. They're probably playing something this turn. They're probably at least 3-color over there. They're probably like Sultai at the very least. So I can spend 5 mana to make a soldier. Tap it when I attack. Actually, when I clicked on him, I literally just wanted to to look at him. I just left-clicked instead of right-clicked. I should have just played the Ceratok there, but getting a soldier is fine. Okay, so that's probably going to block my Unicorn. It's a good thing we've been buffing this champion, or they could just kill him. Like, getting a soldier's fine there, it's just not ideal. A 4-3 is just going to be better. Of course, I could pretend I'm playing around some kind of Wrath, but Ritual of Soot does 3 mana cost and less, so it wouldn't even kill the Ceratok anyway. So now they have a 3-4. Well, if I knew I would have drawn a million lands, I definitely would have kept the 3-2. Alright, so I'm going to attack with the champion. I can give him +2. And I can attack with the Hawk as well. Just trying to kill them off before they do anything crazy. They return their Whisper Agent, so I gotta remember they have another flash blocker. This champion is putting in a lot of work, because if I just draw another land next turn, then I'm still fine, because I can make another 1-1, which will buff the champion again. Oh my god, look at that draw. Might of the Masses, let's get in there. Let's go. So whatever they don't block is going to kill them. Basically. Let's get in there. We're going to swing... We're going to swing out. I want more creatures that have the ability to hit them. Hopefully they just play their Whisper Agent here and try to kill off the champion or something. The only thing that could really kill me is that they have the mana untapped to kill one of my creatures with an instant speed spell, and they kill whatever I Might of the Masses. That would be a really awkward situation, because then they get to kill my champion and not die. But hopefully they can just die here. Okay, so they're going to block like that. They're taking 3 at least. And I'm going to pump the soldier token. That way if they do have a removal, I'm not losing as much as if I had pumped the healer's hawk. Alright! We got there with the just early game Selesnya Rush, even off of a mole to 5. Okay, so it looks like competitive draft does have... is a 3-game match. I have never played competitive draft on Arena yet, because I haven't played any formats that require gyms. Okay then, so I can sideboard stuff in if I want. Which makes the Sprouting Renewal not as great. Yeah, sorry I'm really not familiar with with the competitive draft format. Just familiar with Quick Draft because it doesn't cost any gems, and gems cost money. I just managed to get enough gems to do this from other events. Like Quick Drafts. I don't think I want to sideboard anything, really. Deck worked out fine. They didn't have anything that was, like, made any of our cards completely useless or anything like that. I think I just want to roll with this and try and get him again. So, let's just go with done. Well, that makes me really happy to know that competitive draft is actually 3-game matches, so it's just full on. I don't even have to worry about the mentality of, like, do I have to pick this card up for the... Or do I have to put this in the main deck just in case of something like that? It's like, no, you can sideboard. So I'm keeping this hand because if I get any land, it's going to be pretty sweet. And we saw what happened when I mulliganed last game. My guess with the way Magic Arena is treating me right now, if I mulliganed, I would get a no-land hand, and then if I mulliganed again, I would get double planes again, but with only 5 cards this time. So, we're just going to keep it. We're gonna do whatever Magic Arena says. We're going to capitulate here. So, this is going to depend on if I draw a pump spell. Okay, so I didn't draw a pump spell. Because of that, if I would have drawn a pump spell, I would have gone Sworn Companions into a triple attack to make another lifelinker, but I am definitely not Luminous Bondsing that Stray, So I think I'll play out the champion here. I mean, that might just draw early game removal, though, and I would like to keep him around. So I could just play the Stray, actually. Like, how aggressive does champion get? If I play champion, I can companions next turn? Actually, yeah, I can make champion really big if they don't just kill it immediately. So we'll go with the champion. There was an argument for any of these cards. I wouldn't have agreed with just Luminous Bondsing the Stray. That's the only play that I could have made that I would have been like, yeah, maybe don't do that. I think I just want to pop out the Centaur here. I could play Sworn Companions and the Centaur, I think. 1, 2, 3. I'd then have 4 creatures. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, I think I want to just go out. Of course, I could play around a Wrath, but that's, like, pretty unlikely. And, like, if they don't have a Wrath, then next turn is really bad for them. Because now I just have a million creatures. Okay, so they are Sultai, but we saw that last game, I think. I've got a Watcher in the Mist, so now we don't have to play around anything, which is pretty sweet. I'm probably going to Luminous Bonds that flyer. I could play my Arboretum Elemental next turn, but if I draw a land, then... Ooh. If I draw a land, I can just make a token, but I really kind of want to Luminous Bonds that flyer. I could just attack with the Centaur and the Champion. Then I could make a token. Because if I attack with the champion, I can tap 3, make him a 5/5. And the Centaur would also just trade with the Watcher in the Mist. I'm actually going to do that and see what they do. And then maybe just use my mana for a Generous Stray or a token. I mean, well, the Wrath effects are like... The Wrath effects are mana cost dependent, I don't think. I don't think they have anything that will kill this Arboretum Elemental, so I'm actually... We're going to attack with the Centaur alone, and then I'll tap everybody to play Arboretum Elemental. Okay, so they're just going to chump block. So they get to keep that Watcher for a turn, but we're going to play this giant dude. Oh, I could have attacked with something else. I forgot that his Vigilance would have got there. I want to leave him untapped, though. He's got 4. He's got 4 toughness. Here's a big boy. What do you say? What do you say to this elemental, opponent? Ooh, that was definitely a sideboard card. I'm very happy with the way I played then. I'm very happy I just got this guy out, because otherwise he might not have came. Alright. 4, 11, 12, 13. I don't think I want to Luminous Bonds that yet. I'll just attack with the giant dudes. Probably play a Loxodon Restorer, because I can convoke it in off of my Centaur or my Champion. They're going to pump them up. That would be one way to kill it. Oh, Sure Strike, that's really awkward. That makes me feel... that makes me feel like a derp for that attack. Yeah, I probably should have just bonsed. This is fine, though. Do I just want a token here? Or a Stray or a Restorer? I could play a Stray and a Restorer, I think. Yeah, I'll play a Stray and a Restorer. Draw a card here to refuel. Like, let's just make the bad attack not matter by just playing all of the shit. I still have many dudes. Wait a sec. They got me with a Sure Strike. they're on that 4 color at least. They're green, blue, black, red. So it wasn't even a card that I would have been actively playing around, but they could have had the 3 mana +3/+3 in green, but then our creatures would have traded, so then the attack wouldn't have been as bad. But it was still not a good attack. I could play the Unicorn, which is pretty good. Luminous Bonds the Watcher. I think I want to Luminous Bonds the Watcher at this point. And then I can just get in there with everybody else. I don't have enough mana to Luminous Bonds and play the Unicorn. Yeah, because if I don't Luminous Bonds the Watcher, they can trade off the Watcher with my 4/4. Or they can just blank my 3/4 attacking. Yeah, let's just get in there. Oh, I could tap my Centaur with them. That's a sweet-ass combo. God, I'm learning all these new things about how stupid I am. Yeah, I could just... you can tap Vigilance creatures with Ledev Champion. That's so sick. Oh my god, I love when draft formats are like brand new and you learn this shit. And then when you're drafting in the future, you're like, yeah, combos. Alright, they got a Rhizome Lurcher. That's a 4/4 for 4. Pretty good body. They got a Silent Dart. It does 3 to target creature. So that could be pretty good. So I can play a Healer's Hawk and spit out a token here. I think that's what I'll do. That Silent Dart is going to kill my Ledev Champion, so let's just get the value now. So they have a 4/4. So we'll attack with our 4/4 and our gigantic. I think that's the plan. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3. They have 5 power over there, so I want to do 4 dudes. Do that. Now they can't even double block and kill it, but they were probably just going to use the dart on it anyway. Alright, so the Centaur's getting traded off, but they are running out of cards, and I still have a board presence after this dart shoots my champion. So that takes 4 mana to do, so they can still play something else this turn, so hopefully whatever they play is not that great, and that is pretty great. The Golgari Findbroker. Are they just going to play the Lurcher again right now? That would be awesome. I could get another activation out of the champion. I would really prefer if they just did that. Okay, so they are going to Silent Dart our champion, so we're on the Healer's Hawk plan. Definitely probably going to drop in the Unicorn here. If I attack with everybody, and they block a 1/1, they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They go to 2 life. I don't know if they can afford to do that. I am going to just attack with everybody. They can, yeah, they can kill off my 1/1 if they want. Alright. So here comes the Unicorn. So it should be really hard for them to live next turn. If any 2 creatures get through, then they're dead. I have 5 creatures, so they need 3 blockers. Or 2 blockers and a removal spell. That is 3 blockers right there. So the Hawk gets in for 2. And then just another dude gets in for 2. Oh, I got a Might of the Masses too. Well, I mean, let's just... Never didn't have it. Let's just kill our opponent, I suppose. They're making good blocks, but they are dead on board. I'm not going to do anything until they do something, because they are dead on board. Okay. I guess they just die. Didn't even need the Might of the Masses. Well, that was a very successful first match. We ended at a lot of life points each game. And kinda just crushed, even though I made some pretty dumb misplays. That's my bad, guys. Alright, let's get into round 2 of this competitive draft of Guilds of Ravnica. Starting off Selesnya. That is not what I would have expected, but I'm having a lot of fun. Selesnya is actually, like, I don't know, just the green guilds in general are my least... I'm least interested in them in this set for some reason, but now that I've played a Selesnya draft deck at least a little bit, it's a lot more interesting than I thought. I think they did a really good job with this set. I think every guild is way more interesting mechanically than you would expect. I mean, Demir and it's pretty base level. When you see them, you're like, oh, that's interesting mechanically. There's a lot of thought around playing them, but when you see Mentor for the first time, and a lot of the Selesnya cards for the first time, you're just like, oh, this seems like a really basic strategy. But after playing with Mentor and these Convoke cards, the guilds are definitely more interesting than I gave them credit for. Fly to the Equinox. I can cast every card in my hand. I'm going to keep that, actually. If I can have all these creatures survive, then I can maybe cast that at some point. Because I can cast everything else in my hand, so I'm not too worried about having one card that might be dead late game. Okay, now I have 2 cards that are probably dead late game. That's a little more awkward. I doubt they're gonna drop a flyer, so I think I just want a 3/2. Who's up to one that you don't control. Okay, so I could just play this Vigilance dude. I guess I'll play the Vigilance dude, because if they play any creature, I'd rather trade off the 2/2 than the 3/2. And maybe they'll play a flyer later to get this Harpooner. Okay, Disinformation Campaign. That makes me wish I would have started more aggressively. Okay, so both of these are 8 mana, which is going to be the bigger threat. Against a Demir deck, they could have a 1/1 Death Touch. They do have more flyers, but not 4/5 flyers. Yeah, I'm playing the 3/2. We gotta just get in there. This Disinformation Campaign, they're gonna win the late game. They are going to have card advantage by a country mile. Okay, so there's Sultai again. Another Sultai opponent here. They got a 3/3. They can sack another creature to give it +1/+1 and Menace. In that case, let's drop a 4/4. I could have just swung with the Harpooner, but I don't know when I'm going to draw another land, so I don't know if I will have a chance to play this Centaur anytime later, because they could kill one of these creatures at any point, and if I attacked with the Harpooner, they could just block and trade, and then I definitely wouldn't be able to cast a Centaur later. Okay. So they probably have an Unexplained Disappearance, or some kind of instant with Surveil. They have to sack another creature to give it +1, so I will go to combat. They could have a Whisper Agent. That would probably be their best card for right now. So I can attack with these 2, and I can still guaranteed convoke a Rosemane Centaur if they don't kill any of my creatures that are out of combat. So we're going to do that. Because I'm pretty sure that this Centaur is going to die somehow. Okay, they're just going to straight up destroy it. Fair enough. Fair enough, opponent. So I'm going to drop this Centaur, and if they don't kill it immediately, I can definitely cast Fly to the Equinox next turn. Which will be awesome. However, I have no idea how many removal spells that they have. They could have a shit ton. Who knows how the AI drafted? They're pretty strange sometimes. Sometimes they just won't draft a single removal spell, and somebody will end up with like 50,000. So hopefully they don't have 50,000 removal spells. So if they can... No, they only have 6 mana. They cannot play it and Surveil again and play it again. So we're casting everything we draw from now on. So I'm going to discard this Skyline Scout and really, really hope to draw a land. If I don't draw a land here, this is going to be brutal. Oh my god. Alright. Yeah, that's bad. That's real bad. They have 3 mana left. They have so many cards in hand, I think I have to just get in there. I probably have to just discard this Equinox next time. Disinformation campaign is insane. Yeah, if they kill either of these creatures, I have to discard this Equinox. Okay. So, I mean, I'm going to kill the Necrolisk. I'm pretty sure I've lost this game. They just have so many cards. They've gotten, like, a lot of advantage out of that campaign. I do not think I can come back from this. Yeah, technically it looks like I'm winning, but I'm really, really not. I know how Dimir plays. Alright, they got a 3/1 flyer. Well, I mean, looks like I discarded the wrong card. They're like, hey, I saw you just discarded the Convoke card. Here's 2 creatures to convoke it out. And not a Plains for your Unicorn. I mean, the Hawk would trade for the Bats, so, I mean, let's just get in there. I could attack with everybody, then they trade off the Whisper Agent for a 3/2. Trade off the Bats for a 2/2, I guess. This is so rough. If I don't just keep swinging in there and putting pressure on them, they're just going to keep drawing more creatures than me. Like, our creatures are going to trade off at some point. So there we go. Here comes the Surveillance to Disinformation campaign. Say goodbye to Unicorn. Nope, just a 3/2 Centipede. And a Veiled Shade. Yeah, so there's the creatures that basically guarantee I can't get there. I have to draw something insane. Now we just have to sit here for a century while we wait for them to find a way to kill us. So this is gonna be fun. Well, I mean, that's a way to kill us. Sometimes you just pull a Vraska on top of your very good Dimir deck. Sometimes you just pull a Vraska. So I think we have to go just all-out aggression here. Or just hope they don't draw Disinformation campaign. I think without the Disinformation campaign, we would have actually been in a really good spot that game. Even though we were kind of stuck on lands, we had to discard like 3 cards, I think. All of them were pretty good. We could have cast a 4/5 flyer. We wouldn't have made those attacks if we still had the 4/5 flyer in our hand. Could splash in the black stuff, but it doesn't actually even seem that good against them. Their non-creature stuff was the stuff that really mattered, just like the Vraska and the Disinformation campaign. Could untap all my dudes and give them indestructible, but it gives hexproof as well, so it counters a removal spell. But then again, that's 5 mana, and I did not have 5 mana all game. I think I'm probably just rolling with the same deck. Like, maybe take out another one of these very large cards. Take out, like, 1 Arboretum Elemental. Because, like, the odds of us getting to that mana without it just getting discarded, or them having an option. Well, I mean, Arboretum seems good against them. Maybe take out the Flight of the Equinox, actually, because we've seen targeted removal from them. They're much more likely to kill a Flight of the Equinox than an Arboretum Elemental. They actually didn't play the 1/1 Death Touch guy that I thought they would have definitely had. So they might not even have that guy, in which case Arboretum Elemental could be sweet. So we're going to find 1 card to put in instead of the Flight of the Equinox. So, I mean, we could put in the Joined Shields and see what happens. We could put in the Flower to make sure we get our mana. Oh, I was not even paying attention to the timer. It would be nice to have any sort of warning. Like, literally any audio cue at all, but That's cool, too. Alright, so we had to mulligan again, like the vast majority of games we've been playing. Just drop a Has the Marshal. This could be a very good start. If they are unable to play anything till turn 3 again, this could be a real good start. I can play the Shieldmate, go into a Sworn Companions, get another token with this Marshal. Yeah, if they go for the same start, if they go land nothing and then land Disinformation Campaign, I think we're at a sweet spot, actually. I'll just discard the Skyline Scout if they make me. Spinal Centipede. Okay, so there's an Arboretum Elemental. Don't have the mana for it yet. I have 4, 5, 6, 7. I need one more creature out to do it. I'm gonna swing in with the Shieldmate. And we'll see if they trade. Okay, interesting. Because that's another creature they could have used to block my 1/1. Like, if I have any form of removal here, if they play another dude, I could just, like, get rid of it to get in with the Marshal. So I'm not super certain about that block, and they probably have a Whisper Agent. I'm just going to make the all-out attack. I can play a Marshal and a Skyline Scout to guarantee an Arboretum Elemental next turn. The only thing that would fuck that over is if they have the -1/-1 to all creatures, which is a sorcery anyway. Okay, so they're going to tap him and kill the 4/4. Okay, we'll just get in there, play another Hazda Marshal. We're going to have a lot of creatures. If they don't make me discard a card, we're going to play Arboretum Elemental next turn. If they have the -1/-1 card, we have to just scoop right here. Yep. Never didn't have it. We have 3 lands and an 8 mana card. Wait, no, a 9 mana card. So that's game. Well, that was rough. Opponent had a very good deck with the perfect sideboard options to go with it. And that's on top of the fact that I just drew the perfect hand that just plays into the Mephitic Vapors. Like, last game, I don't think I played that much stuff with 1 toughness. I definitely had a lot of stuff in my deck, like you saw in the first round. Like, I got Vapors and I still had, like, a 2/2 and a 4/4 Vigilance and, like, a 4/3. Well, these hands are so awkward today, but I'm just gonna roll with it. We're just going to accept whatever Arena says at this point. Okay, so they got a Pilfering Imp. I think I'm fine trading off with that. Because otherwise it trades off with a 4/5 flyer. Alright. Well, we need to draw something. Another Pilfering Imp. Do they have a land to go with it? They do. Alright, well, they get to pick a creature of their choice. They could take the Flight out so I don't have a giant flyer later, or they could take the Centaur out because I'm closer to casting it. Has the Marshal. Kinda awkward by yourself, but hello, join the team, Marshal. Let's get in there. Thief of Sanity from the opponent. Would love like a Luminous Bonds or something like that right now. I gotta get rid of that guy, or they can, if they have the mana, start casting Arboretum Elementals from my deck. Which is pretty good. If they don't do anything here, I can play Flight of Equinox next turn to block it. This would be insanely awkward if they got our 1 Luminous Bonds, and then I just play Flight of Equinox into them Luminous Bondsing us. That would probably be the most awkward thing they could have got. Okay, so they got Conclave Guildmage, so they got a 2-2. So they got a 2-2 and a land and an Arboretum Elemental. They didn't want the late game Elemental. Alright. Do they have a Sinister Sabotage here? They did see our hand. Okay, they got a Whisper Agent. Yeah, if they had a Sinister Sabotage there, there's really no playing around it. I only have the Flight of the Equinox, and they know that. Well, I guess they don't know that, because they don't know what this is. That could have been another card, but I can't just sit there and do nothing. So they have a Notion Rain. They're digging for answers for this Flight of Equinox, I believe. Oh, they surveilled their Sabotage to the grave? I don't know about that. The fact that they surveilled Sabotage to the grave makes me feel like they really don't have an answer in their hand. Okay, now they do. They have House Guildmage. Because I'm like, counterspells when your opponent is top decking is just like insane. Then they can't just top deck a bomb and kill you. Okay. So, I don't think I can really attack here. They'll just keep my guy tapped down with the Flight, or with the Guildmage. And then they can start hitting me back with the Thief of Sanity and start stealing my cards. I think this is going to be a long game. I guess my only main hope here is that they don't draw a removal spell anytime soon. And they just, like, mill themselves with their Surveil to death or something. But odds are, this is draft, odds are they have a way to shuffle some cards back. Maybe the counterspell or something. Muse Drake. One step closer to them milling themselves. I only need 2 more lands and I can play 2 1/1s a turn, which would be awesome. Alright, we're going to play one of them. Yeah, I need 2 more lands drawn to make 2 a turn. I have a Might of the Masses. That's probably going to stay in my hand. I don't think I can... I mean, they're tapped out. They're tapped out. I can do... This is like the only time I can guarantee that they won't counter it, but it only gives +5/+5. So all I can really do here is like... I mean, I could attack with the Marshal to make another 1/1. But then they just kill my other stuff. I could do 9 to them if they don't block, but then they just get to draw a card off the Thief of Sanity, which seems like not a great trade right now. Dimir Spybug. Well, I need an answer to that. Gotta get that Luminous Bonds. Hired Poisoner. That is fine. I have a giant army of 1/1 lifelinkers to trade with you. I mean, now I just can't attack at all. So this is gonna be... This is gonna be a while. Get ready for the long game. Let's see how big they can make this Spybug and how quickly. They do have the Guildmage plus Spybug combo. I need Illuminous Bonds. They probably have another Sinister Sabotage in their hand at this point. Night Veil Predator. Okay. That doesn't really change anything. I guess that can attack alongside the Spybug. So I am under a lot of pressure now. They have no counterspells, though. I'm surprised they didn't just sandbag a card in their hand. Just to make me think they might have a counterspell. Like, now I know I can swing in with one of these 1/1s and just pump it up a shit ton to gain a bunch of life, but... Again, I think I want to wait to do that as long as possible to get the most life out of it. They put a Night Veil Sprite in their grave. Okay. That's a weird choice to me. I would have kept the Sprite on top, because then Sprite plus Guildmage gives 2 counters to Spybug every turn. Seems really strong. Yeah, it's not gonna matter. I'll just keep drawing land. But that's okay. I can play 2 1/1s now. Still don't think I can attack. They're gonna block all my 1/1s with 2 toughness dudes and just my 2/2 with a Death Toucher. My Flight of Equinaughts with a Death Toucher. Like, it's just... we are just getting wrecked by Dimir today. Cannot block the Spybug, and the block with the Predator is not profitable. They're surveilling again. It's gonna be a long game. I mean, it won't be that much longer if they have a counter. They don't. So Finality would kill everything that they have on their board. And everything in their grave. So I think I'm sideboarding in Finality. And splashing in Golgari. For sure. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They attack back for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 flying. No, they attack for 9 flying plus a Thief of Sanity that I have to block. So I die next turn if they see it. Oh, man. Well, this Might of Masses is certainly not enough to kill them. Even though it is a lot, it is 10 now. I mean, I've got to send in with 1 to gain the life to survive. Might as well kill their creature and gain a bunch more life. I could have done 14 to them if they didn't block the flight. But I have a feeling they would have made the same block. So can't block here. Again, the reason I didn't attack with the flight is because then they could just hit me with the Thief of Sanity and get another card to kill me with. Now they've got more than enough to convoke an Arboretum Elemental if they hit my other one. However, Arboretum Elemental wouldn't do anything against me, so I guess maybe I should have attacked with the flight as well, just to give them more opportunities to do something foolish, but I doubt they would have done something bad enough to get them to lose this game. They are astronomically in a winning position here. Like, not only do they have a guild mage, they have my guild mage too. So I can't have a mana sink as good as theirs. But I mean, I guess I do, because my champion's actually a better mana sink for my deck than the guild mage probably. I think I'm dead now. No, I have the Healer's Hawk. Another Muse Drake from our opponent. Down to 8 cards in their deck, so if I get some way to have all these lifelink dudes survive or something, I could could theoretically lifelink my way to victory. I think I have to take 10 here. They have 1 card in hand. It costs 2 mana. They could have a unexplained disappearance, but I think that's the only thing they could kill me with, surveil-wise. Skyline Scout. I don't think you do anything on this board. I think I just need to make some 1/1s. Okay, so I'm at 1. I can double block the Spybug and take 5/6. Double block the Spybug, take 6. I mean, I don't have much of a choice but to do this. So I can gain 9 and go to 10 life. Yeah, I have to double block the Spybug, even if I gain that much life. I could attack with just the champion, but they just block with the poisoner. Where to do that? See if any of these get through. I have not really counted their creatures. Alright. So they're going to block like that. They're going to let 4 of it through. If I still had the Might of the Masses, I could kill them, but I couldn't have lived without casting the Might of Masses earlier, which sucks. Like, yeah, I don't have any responses. We'll just see what happens here. I don't believe any of their creatures die. Okay, so I'm up to 10. I still have 6 of these guys. Could play a Scout or another Lifelinker. I think I need Lifelink more to survive another turn. Flower and Flourish would be a sweet draw, but I think that I left that in the sideboard at the end. I don't remember if I put it in here. So I think definitely the lesson from this draft, even if I win this match, I feel like the lesson in this draft was that Hazda Marshall, I feel like this was like the deck for Hazda Marshall and Healer's Hawk and these little guys, but they've just really not done anything. I mean, well, I don't have to double block the Spybug yet. I could just take 8 here and actually kill one of their creatures, so I guess we'll do that. Instead of losing both of my blockers. I can keep one of them and get rid of one of their attackers. Loxodon Restorer. I cannot block the Spybug. It's going to be at 9. Can't block the Spybug. Spybug goes to 9. Let's use the champion first, because I can definitely do that and the Restorer. I can block one of their flyers. I'm going to take 9. I'm going to take 10. I have to play this Restorer. I have to play Restorer, and I have to hit them with what? That would put me at 6, so I have to hit them with 4 lifelinkers. It's playing the rope sound, but I can't see the rope at all. I think I'm having a bug here. I'm pretty sure I'm dead. Because I'm going to have to tap too many of these guys to block. So I have to hit them with 4 of these, and I play Restorer. The untap everybody give hexproof indestructible would actually have been pretty good this game. See, I'm definitely like, maybe I should have done that. I'm just going to tap all my mana here. I need these as blockers. So I'm going to take 10 and gain 1. So I'll be at 1 life if they don't play anything. Please put both of them in your grave. Just mill yourself out. They're still putting cards in their grave. That is bold. I guess they feel that they've really got the win here. Which, I mean, they probably do. Do they have enough creatures? Okay. Apparently they did the math, so I don't have to. Another Darkblade Agent. That's a Rosemane Centaur. Alright, well they had 3 cards left, so I feel like we got as close as we could have. But that game was lost on like turn 3. I don't feel like I made a mistake in playing that game out because they got so close to milling themselves, but it definitely was not like super fun. So I'll put the Finality in, double Uprising. We have to have a way to kill that thing. Put in the Guild Gate. And what will we take out? Take out the Marshals. Maybe even take out the Hawks. And then... yeah, we're going more late game here. They had 1 counterspell, it seemed. 1 counterspell in their whole deck, so we don't really have to worry about that. Is this enough swamps? They didn't put any swamps in. Okay. Do I want Flourish? The question is, what am I taking out at this point? If I'm putting stuff like that in. Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep it like this. Join Shields again. We'll try it out. We'll try out the Join Shields. We got to try it out in 1 game. So I guess at that rate, we'll take out Conclave Guildmage, maybe? No, Mana Sinks seem good against them. Probably just Skyline Scout. They had a lot of flyers. We have, like, no early game creatures now, but it's probably okay. Take out 3 of those, put in 3 swamps. All of our black cards can be played late game. There we go. We got 4 black sources, so we'll get 1 by turn 10 on average. Not turn 10, by the 10th card on average, so by turn 4 on average. Alright, I like this hand. I like this hand a lot. Guildmage into Champion, we've got double Mana Sink. Into a Ceratok or a Rosemane Centaur. Depending on if we draw a land or not. They've got a hired Poisoner, so probably not actually attacking with any of this stuff for a little while. There's their House Guildmage. Got a Sprouting Renewal here. That could be pretty good next turn. Yeah, next turn I can play a Ceratok and a 2/2 Vigilance. Cannot play a Centaur and a 2/2 Vigilance, though. We didn't see any artifacts or enchantments, so we don't need to, like, Sprouting Renewal a Disinformation campaign or anything like that. So we'll play Ceratok. And we will... Ooh, that leaves us open if they want to swing their Darkblade Agent, though, and draw a card. Probably should have just played the Centaur there, actually. I mean, the Darkblade Agent is going to get Death Touch, though, and I wouldn't want to trade the Centaur off, but I'm fine trading off the Ceratok, so I guess we're actually just going to play the Ceratok and pass. Because I don't want them to draw a card off this Darkblade Agent. I'll leave the Ceratok to trade with it. Pilfering Imp. So that's going to pilfer my Undercity Uprising. Probably. It could pilfer my Luminous Bonds. So I need one more land, and then I can start using my Mana Sinks. I can start using the Champion, and then if I get another land at any point later, I can start using the Conclave Guildmage instead. I think I'll play the Centaur now, so they can't just make me discard it. And I'll actually... I will tap the Ladev Champion. Oh, they're gonna sabotage just my 4/4? Alright. Well, that got their one counterspell in their whole deck out of the way. That's fine. This field doesn't really put me under any pressure. Even if they make me discard one of my removal spells, I can still get rid of their one Spy Bug. I think that I'm off to a pretty good start this game. I mean, it is awkward, but like... If I get a land, then I'm off to a pretty good start, because then I just start winning by attrition of just using my Mana Sink. And just having an answer for their, like, one lethal card. They are going to go in with the Darkblade Agent. So I'm going to trade off. I don't need this Ceratok. I just need my Champion. Okay, so they're going to get rid of one of my removal spells. They're actually probably going to get rid of Luminous Bonds. They both do like the same thing. Luminous Bonds is just easier to cast. Well, it looks like we're not going to get the one more land we need anytime soon. But I got the Shield Mate. I did not see an artifact or enchantment in their entire deck last game, and I saw basically their whole deck. They had 3 cards left. So, oh yeah, they've got the Night Veil Predator too. Never mind, they got 2 threats that matter. Of course, that is like I could play like my 4/5 flyer and block it or something. That's really awkward. I'm 1 mana off from the Arbor Elemental. I'm 1 mana off from using my Champion or my Arbor Elemental. Which is just like, come on, world. The Arboretum Elemental doesn't do a whole lot right now, but it just makes it so that Hired Poisoner really can't block, because they're just going to save it for the Arbor Elemental. They surveilled both to the top. That's not good for me. Alright, get in there, Predator. I am not stopping you. There's the Spy Bug. I guess they'll just draw both of their threats in the first half of their deck. Meanwhile, I will not draw a 5th land any time. I mean, oh, I gotta just start attacking. I don't think I'm ever gonna have mana for this stupid guild mage, because I don't even have mana for the champion, and it costs 1 less. Okay, so they are gonna trade off with the guild mage. We're gonna hit him for 4. We're gonna drop a centaur. Am I blocking any of their stuff? No, it's all flying, so let's just tap these guys. Next turn, if I draw a land, once again, I'm in the same position where if I draw a land, I can drop champion and elemental. Or not elemental, I can do either. Okay, so they have the Thought Erasure. They're probably getting rid of the elemental. Still in the same position, I just want a land so I can make some lifelinkers. Of course, if I get a swamp, that'd be super sweet. That would be like extra sweet. I could put a 1/1 out there, and then I could throw it at the Spy Bug. Making a 1/1 with the champion, and the next turn shooting them with the Undercity Uprising. Okay, never mind about the Ledev champion plan. The Dev champion is gone. He got a deadly visit from some sort of assassin. Well, no worries, I didn't draw the land anyway, so he wouldn't have done anything. They didn't attack with the Nightveil Predator? So I guess they're planning on just shooting my centaur. I'm just going to attack with everybody. This Assure was actually a really good draw. I'll just Assure whatever they block. They know one of my cards, so they know that odds are... Okay. They know that odds are this is not going to happen. But it just did. Get eaten. Well, I have a... not a plan. I have a chance. That's the word. My brain's not working. God, and they'll just... Ah, shit. Alright. They will top deck as well as I just did. But, I mean, that's fair. They're surveilling their whole deck. There's a land, but it doesn't matter, because it's not a swamp. It's too late now. They have the Spy Bug and the Guild Mage, so they can put a counter on the Spy Bug in order to trade it off with the Centaur. They can put a counter on the Spy Bug and block any of my other creatures, so I'm going to attack with just the Centaur. If they want to make that trade, they can go right ahead. Really wish this were a swamp. If this were a swamp and they make this block here, then this was really good for me. Like, yeah. Yeah, they know I had the Uprising, so if I had a swamp, I'd be in a really, really good position right now. So I could get really aggressive on them. Then all they have is a Guild Mage left. Just gonna pass. My mana sinks are all in the grave, so it's whatever. They get a card, and they have more than enough mana for it, unlike me. So here comes probably, like, the best card in my deck. Nope, never mind, just a Generous Stray. That's adorable. It lets them draw a card, though, which is really good in the position they're at, where they're just top decking. I mean, here's some lifelink. I did not mean to click that. Let's just get in there. Whisper Agent. That's That is a draw. That will just trade off with one of these guys, though. Probably going to trade that off with the 3-3 and trade off... I guess they'll just let the 2-2 stay here. Block it with the Generous Stray or just take 2. They might just trade off the Guild Mage at this point. If their top is good enough that they know that they've got Assurance at this point. Like, they have the Thief of Sanity that basically lets them keep drawing cards anyway. Okay, so they're letting me keep my 2-2. Let's see what they got. They're just going to keep top decking from my deck. See what they got here. Crawl Harpooner. That is a 3-2 reach. Seems pretty good. Any creatures on this board are really, really good right now. God, they've got a lot of dudes in their grave. It's a 9-2 till end of turn. Hot damn. It's not a swamp. Alright, well, I mean... I guess all 4 of my black sources are in the bottom third of my deck. That's pretty dope. I can't really do anything here. I can just die. I can attack with this 2-2, and then they trade off with the Harpooner. But, like... I gotta just save it as a blocker. I am just dead. Oh, wait, they might have actually milled one of my black sources when they were Thief of Sanity. Nope, they did not. I don't think I have any hope at this point. Before I had a hope of, like, swamp into Finality, but it's just way more likely at this point that they just mill Finality. And, like, even if I get that, I'm gonna mill out before them, right? No, they're still gonna mill out before me? That's impressive. They're milling me 3 cards a turn, and they're still gonna mill out before me. But no, after 2 more hits from Thief of Sanity, I will mill out before them. Oh, there goes my swamp. There goes one of my swamps and a Flight of Equinaughts. The fact that Flight of Equinaughts is... Look, we'll just get 2 swamps in a row. The fact that Flight of the Equinaughts is in my grave and not my exile means that that card is 100% Find in Finality. So they just have, like, the ultimate assurance. Like, I could Uprising now, but is there really any point? I mean... We're not dead next turn, I guess. They get to Surveil too. Put them in your grave, please, and let me draw Finality. Have this somehow not be Finality. There's my Golgari Guildgate. All the black mana is like, hello. How's it going? We was just chilling down here if you needed us. There's the forest. Alright, well, we are dead. So I think that's going to end it for the competitive draft for the day. I mean, I will double check. But I believe that that means we are out. And the other thing that means, since the only way to play Guilds of Ravnica Limited is with gyms, and you don't get any gyms unless you get 3 wins. I now do not have enough gyms to play any more Guilds of Ravnica Limited, which is some garbage, but that's alright. Maybe with daily quests I'll be back tomorrow with a M19 draft, hoping to win enough gyms to play another Guilds of Ravnica draft. yeah, thank you all for watching. That was that was not great. We got 1 win, 2 losses. Opponents had pretty good decks. Any takeaways about our deck in this? I think that the Hazda Marshal just really didn't work out at all. I think that our removal, we definitely needed more removal. Maybe should have been going with the Golgari Splash in the first place, but the only time that we put the Golgari Splash back in to our deck, we just didn't even draw any black sources anyway, so who knows, maybe the mana was awkward enough that we shouldn't have even been going for the splash in the first place. I don't know. So let's open these prize packs, see what we got. Got a Steam Vents, very nice pull. Anything that goes into any dual land is just a great pull, because it goes into any deck you want to make. Conclave Tribunal, also a very good pull that's going to go into a lot of decks, basically most decks with white. All this other stuff is whatever. Next pack we got Murmuring Mystic. I'm very excited about Murmuring Mystic. I'm playing all kinds of casual decks with that guy. And our rare is Guild Mage's Forum. I highly doubt I will ever put that card into one of my constructed decks, but who knows. Like, it's okay. It's clearly just a commander and brawl plant of just another Opal Palace, I think it's called. The one that you put a counter on your commander when you cast it with that mana. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. That was my very first competitive draft of Guilds of Ravnica, and I will see you all next time, probably for just some M19. See ya.